Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Sisters of Legacy. I am Samantha Walker, one of your hosts. We are going to go ahead and run our intro, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. Hold on, I did something wrong. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's a better view. Maybe that's why I look like a lot of me. I don't know. But hey, guys, we are here this evening. As always, on Tuesdays at 8:30, let's say 11:30, 8:30 p.m., the Sisters of Legacy are coming to you live and in living color. So tonight, I have my co-host, the wonderful Katrina Taylor.
Good evening.
And so here we are, guys. We are minus two ladies um, that are not with us tonight. And so we press on as the awesome duo that we are. New Yorkers in the building. All right. So I wanted to let's see, to talk about this topic. I see so many people talk to so many people, and I come up with these great ideas. So I wanted to talk about, coming into your own as a woman. Like, what does that really mean? What does that look like? And I wanted to know if people know when that moment happened for them. Like, do you know the moment where you was like, oh shoot, I'm a woman now? Like, did you have that aha moment? Did do you feel like you've come into your own as a woman? Kind of what does it look like for you? So I oh shoot, my screen just went black. Okay, so Trina, I'm gonna ask you. So when you see that coming to your own as a woman, what is that? How does that ring for you?
I don't know. I wasn't really sure where we were going with it.
Okay.
Um, I guess, on the one hand, I guess it's kind of like, oh, I'm grown now.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I mean, uh, doing life as an adult. I guess it's more of adulting is what I kind of thought about
Okay.
adulting. Um, paying your own bills and living on your own and that type of thing. That was my first thought. Um, because when you're growing up and you're depending on your parents for um pretty much everything. And then you get to that kind of in between 20 stage where you think you're grown, but not quite.
Mhm.
It's like, you out acting kind of grown, but you're not paying all your own bills. You're driving around in a car that probably, you still under your parents' insurance or whatever the case may be. You're not completely grown. But when you actually got bills in your name and you're completely adulting, that's kind of when you're like, oh, I'm calling these people by myself. I'm not asking my mom or dad to make the phone call for me or whatever, um you're showing up to work every day, you're responsible because there's a time when you're like, and I remember being in college and it was just like, job wasn't that important. I mean, I'll show up every day, but I may or may not keep that job because I didn't have responsibilities to where, listen, if I don't show up, these bills coming. It was just like, if I don't show up, you know. So it's like when you finally take on the responsibility of everything for yourself. um I don't know. To me, that's the first thing I thought about as,
Okay.
just completely doing the whole adult thing on your own. So I guess you had something else in mind.
I mean, no, I kind of wanted, like almost everything else, I kind of want to hear, what comes to mind of everybody, kind of how
Mhm.
you feel about it, what you think, your experiences. I mean, kind of for me, once I set the topic and, you know, um, we set this topic a while ago, and then, so, like I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I was thinking about, um, for me, I was thinking more like when I truly became Samantha, like myself.
Okay.
Like, when you're growing up, I feel like, you're kind of watching your mom, or, if for whatever reason you don't live with your mom, you're watching your grandmother, or you're watching your aunts, and then you're watching your friends, to kind of figure out, um, who you are or who you want to be. You're watching all these people and you're imitating, the people around you a lot of times. So for me, I was thinking in terms of, at what point did I kind of begin to march to the beat of my own drum?
Mhm.
Like that was for me where I was thinking. And when I thought back to it, I realized that, um I don't know, you've known me for a long time. So I'll say, like, for me, I kind of feel like that happened really early on for me.
Mhm.
Like, to be settled in, I don't know, my personality or who I was going to be. Um, Even like growing up as a kid, like I remember relatives, like they didn't always want me around because I always had an opinion. I always was gonna say, nope, that's wrong, or nope, she lying, grandma. Like, so I got in trouble a lot as a kid. And there was even like a period for a while where I felt like, okay, well, maybe what I'm doing isn't right. Like maybe I'm not supposed to be like this. Because you grow up in a house and people tell you what happens in this house stays here. And you don't tell people this and you don't say this. And I always was the one that said too much, apparently. So I remember the weird part, the weird few years growing up where I didn't quite know, like, if I was being right. Like I felt like
Mhm.
maybe
Mhm.
I was wrong and everybody else was right. Like maybe lying was okay. Like it was okay to tell, to lie about stuff because it seemed like it was the norm. And what did they say? Were you prepared or did it catch you off guard stepping into adult womanhood? So like for me, I kind of, it took me back and I started thinking about growing up and kind of being the oddball. Like, I remember even as a teenager, like, I would have associates or however you want to put them. Like I'd be with a group or a group would be around me, but then that same group would be around other people. You know what I mean? Like if me, you, and Shanetta, we do something together, like it's all good. But then there would be times where like maybe you and Shanetta would go off and wouldn't want me to come.
Mhm.
So, like I experienced that sometimes, like with people. And I kind of felt like in my mind again, because I just felt like, okay, whatever. Like I really didn't put a whole lot of energy into it. So like I think that was just my thought process going back and thinking about it. Were you prepared or did it catch you off guard stepping into adult womanhood? Again, for me, I don't know. I felt like not that I was so much a woman, but Trina, like you were saying, being responsible for your own self or for other people or having a load of responsibility is kind of how you took it. I mean, I think I've been responsible for people for a long time. So I don't even know like that moment where I felt like I'm a woman. Maybe like when I moved out my mom's house. Like, I mean, when I was like, yeah, signing that lease at 18, I mean, and I like on my 18th birthday, I was ready to go. Like, I guess maybe at that point, I felt like really in control of my destiny. It didn't catch me off guard because to me, it didn't come fast enough. Like, I started working when I was 16. So in my mind, I don't know if I could have, but in my mind, like I could have been paying rent. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have did this earlier. But of course my mother felt differently. So Trina, just thinking back, so like, do you feel like you've been secure in who Katrina is for a long time? Or was there a moment when you was like, oh yeah, I'm perfect just the way I am? You know what I mean? Like,
Um, I don't know. I feel like I was secure in the different stages
okay.
because I mean, as a teenager, I feel like I was just exploring, but I was cool with that. Like I don't know that I was 100% sure of who I was, but I was cool with just like, all right, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that now, and I was just here and there. Um,
Hey
but
Lisa, good evening.
I think that I didn't embrace. Um, I felt like I was trying to be more extroverted because I think that's what I thought people like. You're supposed to be more extroverted, so I would go against my own introversion and feel uncomfortable because I thought that's what I was supposed to be because I thought that's the norm and I wasn't that. Um, so I think one of the things as I got older, I started to accept more and more that I'm not that person. Um, and I started to just accept I don't really feel that comfortable going out. And I would force myself because and I thought it was more that, I grew up in church, so I don't feel comfortable here. I don't feel comfortable going out, and I didn't feel comfortable, wearing this or doing that because I grew up in church. But more and more, it's just like that's just some of it is just who I am. I don't really want to be out. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people. I don't, And I thought that a lot of it was just, I'm just a church girl, so let me stop trying to fight against that. But a lot of it's just my personality. I don't really want to be
So do
people.
you like if you could think back, can you pinpoint the age that you came to that realization?
Um, I think in law school, I think when I was so it had to be like 23-ish or so. Because in college, I was just a lot of part of my college experience though was just okay. So I'm out here, so let me see what I could do. Let me see what I can experience. Because I grew up in a really strict. So I finally had a little freedom. So I had to take a couple years and see what I could do. Then I found out it's like this ain't all that. So I found out and I was like, okay, enough of that. Then I got my little stuff together. Um, and then I think part of that was once I found out that it's not all the hype, then I really started seeing who I really was. Um, you know, yeah.
Okay, so coming into the realization of who you are, were, however you that's supposed to be, um, did you feel empowered by, have you ever felt like that sense of empowerment? Like, oh yeah, I'm great. Just it. I'm gonna walk in here and I don't even care because I'm great, even if y'all don't look at me. You know.
I don't know if I ever got to I'm great. I think I'm securely yet. I'm all right. I'm good. I don't know that I don't think I've ever proclaimed I'm great. I've definitely proclaimed I'm smart, I'm capable, I got this. But great, I don't know. When did you get to I'm great?
Well, I'll say, like you said, I've had moments, um, like when I first got to college, right? Let me tell you, my first experience. Went to college and it's supposed to be like a welcome reception party. And everybody's getting dressed. We're going back to our rooms, we're gonna get dressed. And I got dressed. Now, I'm from New York, I was always around guys. You saw me, I'm the little one in the middle of all of the boys at church. Like that's just the way it worked out. So like, and then I had a bunch of uncles. So I think like I've always been a little rougher than I probably should have. So like we get dressed. I got on jeans, I got on a jersey, my sneakers matching my jersey, and I'm ready to go to the party. Now my hair was cute, and I might have even had on lipstick. While I walk out the room, hi Ramona, welcome. So I walk out the room and we meet in the hallway, and they all look like I don't know. They was like some models about to do the runway. I mean, there was high heel shoes and short skirts and midriffs, and I was like, this is very uncomfortable.
Okay.
And like I may have spent the blink of an eye kind of trying to fit in with what they kept trying to tell me, was the norm. Oh, no guy's gonna talk to you if you and then like it took me a minute to realize like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, like I wanted to be comfortable in my own skin. And like so I kind of figured out how to just be me. So like I've had moments where I think I've tried to fit in, but I feel like it always hurts more when you're trying to be something that you're not, and then there's a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like when you bend over backwards to try to fit in somewhere, and then you hear like somebody says something about you behind your back. Then it's like you're more crushed because I tried to be, whatever y'all said I was supposed to be, and it still wasn't enough. So, like, after a few of those experiences, I was just like, whatever. I mean, growing up for a while, I was kind of, I told you, I told everything. Nope, that's wrong. Nope, don't do that. I was the kid, like, my mom says she don't want to talk to you. Because I'm like, Mom, such and such is on the phone. Well, I don't want to talk to her. Tell her I ain't here. I'm like, she don't want to talk to you. Now, naturally, that don't always that didn't really work out the way I thought in my head, but you didn't want to talk to them. So like, I've had like great moments where I feel like I'm great. I don't care if you don't think I'm great. Because I realize if I wait for somebody else to think that I'm great, I'll never be great. Like if I wait for you to validate the point, that I'm a good woman or that I'm a good friend or that I'm just a decent person to be around, like I've come to realize like that will never happen. But if I convince myself I'm great, what was that?
It's the cat.
Oh, I was say run, Trina, run. Like so I even, before I do stuff, like I tell myself I'm great. Like not that I'm beyond improvement, because there's always ways to improve upon yourself or, do things differently. But I start up here. Like, listen, I'm great. I'm wonderfully made. And I even, I'm like, God knew what he was doing when he was making me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it ain't all right, but listen, this is what I am. So like I don't know. I think it has come and go. But them times like when I tell myself I'm great and I really listen to that, I feel like there's nothing I can't do. Like even, like I don't like crowds. I don't like to be around a bunch of people. Unless I know all of you, I can't just be in a room. You start sweating, you uncomfortable. But like, the times that I've convinced myself, like I'm great, I got this, I can do this, I'll walk in a room and be unfazed. I don't know. It's like, I guess it's like a self empowerment thing. Like I don't feel the need to look like anybody, talk like anybody, think like anybody. And I think sometimes as women, we don't, it's like we think we have to be like the person standing next to us or like the most popular person in the room or the most popular person. I think we spend so much time sometimes imitating other people, like that you get lost, so sometimes when you are by yourself, it's kind of like you don't even recognize your own self because you spent so much time trying to be something that you're not,
Mm-hmm.
or or being what somebody else wants you to be. The kids want you to be mama. Your husband wants you to be your husband wants you to be what you need to be for him. Says, do you feel like you have to fit in, Trina?
Fit in where? With who?
Oh,
Um, no, 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 I don't feel like I have to fit in. Like, and I feel like that's why I don't, you know, I don't have a lot of friends. I have my small group of friends that I've had for years. Um, and it's funny that most of my good friends are not like introverts. Most of them are outgoing. Well, no, two of them are kind of in between.
he said, when you are in groups or spaces you walk into, do you feel like you need to fit in?
No, not at this point in my life. It's like I tell my kids at my big age, like you can't even embarrass me.
Yep, big age.
It's a big age.
You're so silly.
Like you can't even like I'm. It's not a lot that can, I'm not gonna be embarrassed, if I misspeak or something. Like, well, listen, I'm almost 50, and I've been through a lot in life. It's like you get to a point where things don't phase you so much because you've been through so much. I've seen this before, I felt this before. You know what I'm saying? It's like you recover more quickly because you know who you are and you know what you've been through, and tomorrow I'm gonna start over and it's gonna be another day. It's like I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like you. Certain things like it just doesn't phase you anymore. You just, I'm not sitting here being uncomfortable about, what other people think. More so, things that I'm comfortable about are things I put on myself, not things from outwardly, but things that come from within. My own insecurities that don't really come from other people so much.
Listen, that whole fit-in thing, like I said, I've tried it for little pockets of time, and it really be little pockets, and then it never ends well because by the time I realize, like, you're trying to force me into a box, now I'm just gonna rebel and shatter the whole box. So when I walk away, everything is in shambles because I'm done. I'm kind of like over it. So fitting in, I've never really been good at it. Even times when I've kind of tried to, like I've never been good at it. And now at this age, I don't know if it's a big age. Um, Now at the age I'm in, even now, like when I go into certain places or arenas or whatever, a lot of times I tell myself, okay, we're gonna tone down the Sam. Like, I tell myself, Sam, try to be a little soft, be a little, try to soften your voice or whatever. Because, I realize I can be a lot, but what always happens is, and I really wholeheartedly believe, like, especially now, that God made me this way for a reason. Because what happens is there's always something in the room that, like, it just happens and I have to address it. I mean, it's kind of like the words are jumping out, but like my mouth don't even be fully open and the words are jumping out. It's like God constantly puts me in a position where it's like, oh, you're gonna open your mouth and you are gonna be who you are. Even time, like I've tried to tell myself, just tone it down. It's okay. And then before I know it, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, because this is just wrong. Like, so, yeah, I'm past fitting in. Um, I just kind of feel like I've accepted the fact completely. Like I was created like this for a purpose. I can't say 100%. Like I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly why. I'm still rolling through some things and experiencing some things, but I've come to embrace who I am, and not just because I'm somebody's mother or somebody's wife or the eldest child or somebody's big sister. Like I've found solace in just being Samantha. Like, and I try to explain that to people. Like sometimes I'm like, can you just call me Samantha? People like I like they're offended, and I, it's hard to try to explain to somebody like you don't know how many internal struggles I've been through to accept the fact that I'm some, you know what I'm saying, that I can just be me.
Yeah.
And so I like as women, I think sometimes we lose that. We lose the I'm just, me. Like aside from, because think about it, once the kids get 18 and they go off to college, then you're looking at your husband like, you gonna do something? You know, what what's you empty nesters? I think that's why like now you see women in their 50s and 60s and they jumping out there and doing things, that they haven't done in their whole life. It's like because people are waking up, or women are waking up and realizing like there's more to me than just this title. There's more to me than just this relationship. And I wanted to have this conversation because I want people to find that early. Like don't wait until you 55 and now have your own identity.
I
Like we
think,
don't go ahead.
I think though sometimes that, you know, sometimes you put some things to the back burner because you feel like raising your children, and building your career is at the forefront. Not necessarily more important, but it's at the forefront of what you need to do at that time. So sometimes you need to put some things to the back burner, and it might not be the best thing for you, but I think that's what happens. You get caught up in um prioritizing, you know.
Right.
And so I know, especially for me, like as a single mom, I don't have anybody else to put things off onto. Um, so it's like this cat. Um, it's like sometimes I just want to throw something. Stop. Sometimes you put your children first. So for me, it's like there was nobody else to go to the games and run them here and there. So when I had to do it all, I didn't have time to do other things. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like now within the next year or so, I'm gonna have time to do more things. Um, Growing up, I was an avid reader. I always had stacks of novels all over the place. And over the last couple of years, I started reading again because I'm now opening up more time because guys in college I only got the one now to run around and do. And now as time goes on, I'm having more and more time to get back to the reading that I love to do. Um, and so I think I was telling you not too long ago, yeah, I've been reading some books and I was really so happy that I actually had the time to sit and get into a good novel because I didn't always have time to do that. And that's something I really enjoy. So, I mean, that's just one thing I feel like now I have more time to just, luxuriate in a novel.
Yeah, but okay, so and not discounting any experience, any decision, but do you think like like I'm saying, I think sometimes women we put extra extra boundaries and confines on ourselves. And maybe not just women, maybe just like as parents. Like, we put extra on it. Like,
No,
some
I mean, I feel like I'm sorry. I just feel like it's worth it. It's worth it. Um, I didn't close the door. It's worth it to when you. I don't know. For me, it's completely worth it. I don't feel like I missed out on anything by putting, some things I enjoy to the side because sitting there watching my son play and practice and seeing my daughter on stage and winning competitions, it was totally worth it. And I'm glad now that I have time to get back to that. But at the time, I'm totally fine with it because that was my priority. And just it means everything to see my children do these things. And I was proud, to and there was times I'm running back and forth like crazy and and I would complain about it, but that complaining where you still happy, but you complain about it. But for me, it was everything because I'm all they had, me and Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So that's why for me it was a priority and totally worth it. Totally worth it. So I mean, maybe in other circumstances, it might be some, I'm putting too much on myself. I don't think I put too much on myself. I feel like um that's what I needed to do for them, and it was totally worth it. And I don't have any regrets. I have no regrets.
and he said that's awesome. No, I got it. Like I said, you can't, everybody's experiences and everybody's story is different. So, you gotta go with what works,
Mhm.
for you. I think that is always important to go with, what works for you and what makes you feel most comfortable. So like I totally get it. I totally get it. But I just, I see so many women, like I said, that late in life, now you're trying to figure out what life is supposed to look like because you've given all of your best years to everything. I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's you gave your best years. You did that at that time, and now at this time, you know, I'm a woman of a certain age, and at this certain age that I'm at, now I'm gonna hit these these traveling streets. I don't I was gonna say streets, but in my mind I'm thinking I'm traveling, I'm doing this. Let me just clarify. I want to I mean like traveling and that type of thing, doing things more things that I want to do. Um And I think I don't think it has to be a bad thing that you're now doing things at this age, you know. Especially like I know for sure that I took time when there was a break, when I saw a break, to do things for myself then too. I can't remember what birthday it was, but I went to Mexico by myself for a week. I told my mom, I was like, "They're yours for this week, and I'll be back." And I, you know, so I saw that there was a break in, sports and dance, and I was like, it's my birthday, and I'm going to Mexico for a week by myself. Goodbye. And I did that for myself because it's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to travel alone, and I didn't want to feel like I needed to, wait for a friend or, have somebody go with me. And I just did it, and I had a great time. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that I don't think I need to look at it as if, oh, I'm getting older and my best years are gone. And now this is a great time. Like, it's a big age, but I'm still vibrant and youthful. So I
Okay.
can get out here and enjoy
In
myself.
the streets.
And not only that, but it's like when you're older, you're a lot more responsible, stable, you know, so you can go ahead and have fun in the Lord.
Yes, let's make sure we add that last,
You understand?
last little piece.
Uh,
Listen, like I said, I think, coming into your own as a woman in that sense of being secure in who you are and and what you want is a great thing. So even if you figure out who and what that is at a big age or at a little age, I think it's important to do some self discovery.
right,
Figure out who you are, tap into the power of who you are. Don't let people convince you that you can't be great. I don't care. Your definition of great is whatever it is. And my definition of great is what it is. So don't be convinced that you can't be great or that you have to look like a certain thing. And I don't mean just physically. I mean, that you got to talk like somebody else or be like somebody else or, oh, well, she cooked 7 days a week and I only cook four. Like, some of these unrealistic things that we
right,
see and
right,
we try to imitate and pick up some of these unhealthy things. And what makes them unhealthy is because they're not a part of who we are. We're
right.
trying to force something that shouldn't be. So I think it's important to do some self discovery, take self inventory. And you can do that at any age.
Right. And that's yeah, and I agree with that. Like at any age, like embrace the age that you are and embrace the stage in life that you are and see what works for you at that point in your life. And I think like as you're evolving and things are changing different stages in your life, then you're finding new things and discovering new things about yourself to embrace because maybe when you were 20 something maybe you didn't have any interest in crocheting or whatever, but now you might come up with a mean sweater or something and enjoy it. Like you think, here I am making my scarves or whatever. I don't know. Like it might be something that interests you.
Don't crochet. Don't do. Don't.
Listen, if I crochet a scarf and send it to you, you better wrap it around your neck and go.
Listen. If you crochet me a scarf, please know every Tuesday, it could be the middle of August, I will have that scarf wrapped around my neck just for you.
Thank
Because
you.
listen, I gotta wear the scarf, but don't take up crocheting because you can't crochet and have cats. That's not right. That's too. That's too much. All right,
You
guys.
know
So
that's out of this.
listen, we saw the cat. You can't listen. We saw him. He wanted everybody to see him too. He came up to say hi to everybody. But guys, we thank you for joining us. Like I said, take some self inventory, ladies. It's never too late. Hey, if you want to be like Stella, get your groove back. whatever that means to you. Now, listen, that can mean a lot of different things. It's never too late. Go back to school, learn something new, do something different,
Absolutely.
get on a health kick, whatever
Mhm.
it is. Shave your head, dye your hair.
Wait a minute.
The possibilities are endless, ladies. Don't be confined to a box. There is power in being yourself. There is power in being a woman. And don't forget that. If you didn't hear nothing else, hear that. There is power in being a woman. So embrace that power and show everybody how great
Yep.
you are.
The whole neck.
Until next week, we will be back next Tuesday at 8:30 as usual. And maybe next Tuesday we'll have some other ladies. We'll see what the tide brings in. But until then, be safe and take care.